New World is back, baby, but there's a couple of problems. However, from the onset, I just want to say that it seems that the Brimstone Sands update is being quite well received and most things are going okay, but there are a couple of problems which we'll talk about in a moment. First, I want to give a big shout out to my YouTube members. There's actually a couple more that I need to add to this list, but I've been in the office all day, I'm in my shirt, I haven't had any time. But big shout out to you guys. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do so. But yeah, the game Brimstone is being well received. Let's show you some proof. Yesterday, it actually managed to break into the top 10 most played games on Steam yet again. Now, it has currently dropped to, I think it's currently number 12, as we can see there, but that's a decent showing, right? That's actually quite good. And we have to consider that there's probably some people who aren't playing right now because they know they would be in a queue, therefore they're just not bothering. But overall, that's actually really positive to see. Breaking back into the top 10 is really nice. We can see right now that there's 58,000 people playing, and they peaked out yesterday at 65,000. That's a number that we've not seen since about February last year. And this is on a Tuesday. There's a chance, and I don't know how realistic this will be, that we might actually see it go beyond that on Sunday evening. And overall, the general reception of this patch is mostly positive, I think. You know, I've seen people like Asmongold return and start playing it, and everybody seems to be saying, yes, the game is much better now, and so it is. I do truly believe that. Really, the Brimstone Sands update for me, I don't necessarily think it's a revolutionary update. I think it's more the fact that they've put in the groundwork and the hard work since launch, and they've turned the game around from being, quite frankly, a bit of a mess. There was issues where perks didn't work. Perks weren't saying the right thing. There were like quite frequent bugs and exploits and stuff like that. Those days, thankfully, are mostly a thing of the past. Yes, there's still some bugs, and I'm not going to claim that the game's perfect, but on a technical front, the game is a lot better now. Desync has mostly gone away. There's still people who suffer from desync. Wars are less laggy, for example, but there's still some people who get laggy wars. Like, those technical things have generally been solved. And a lot of the pain points of the actual game have also been removed. You no longer have to pay to enter expeditions. Outpost Rush actually works. We can now see Expertise, which was your high watermark gear score. They've done a lot of things, and I think it is now better. Does that mean that the game is perfect and is going to flourish forever and ever? No, they still have a long way to go in my eyes. Content-wise and end-game content-wise, we still only really have the mutations and PvP. We're going to need to see that be expanded upon, and I suspect when we get the next roadmap, we're going to see sort of signs of that changing. Let's hope so anyway. But now, let's talk about the problems that have come with this patch. Yes, there are some bugs, but there's two main things that are happening. One of which is queues. So they did do some things to try and stop queues from being a big problem. However, I did anecdotally see that that may not have worked like properly. That was just from some players, but you don't really know how accurate they're being. Apparently, if you haven't played from before February 14th, you were going to be able to pick your server when you logged back in. That may or may not be working. I haven't seen official confirmation one way or the other. Either way, if you're stuck on Nisa right now, or Nissa or Barry or something like that, look at this queue. 3,000 person queue. That's apparently going to take 9 hours. Not quite sure why Barry's is like 15 hours, but it doesn't take a genius to work out. That's a problem. Now, I personally would have liked them to have done the thing where you could actually change server from the main menu for everybody. I feel like if they could have got that in time, then people would probably quite freely, voluntarily say, okay, I'll pay £13 to move off, and then when the time comes, I'll pay £13 to move back. We don't really have that possibility. You actually need to suffer through the queues, get it onto your server, and then move off. But are you going to really move off if you're playing with other players who you already know and stuff like that? Maybe not. But that 3,000 player right here, this is an indication that a lot of people did come back for this game, and they were merged into this server, and now they have no other option, right? So queues are a problem. I don't necessarily see an immediate fix to this. I'm personally, what server am I on? I'm on Niflheim, right? Now, this has got 1,400 people on, but last night, I couldn't get anybody to do the Halloween thing with me. I was actually sort of struggling to do it. So there's a bit of a disadvantage if you go down in terms of population. And you know what? I can't really transfer to any other server apart from Tir na Nog. But look at that. That's very shortly going to have a queue. So it's a bit of a lose-lose situation right now. Hopefully they get something in place just to handle these queues. Just more servers isn't enough because people don't really want to transfer, so that's a bit of an issue. Maybe the people on those servers that have massive queues, maybe they could get free tokens, but then it's a bit like rewarding them for not transferring off earlier. But I mean, you know, it's a lose-lose because, as I said, unless your whole company is going to transfer off and pay an absolute shed ton of money, then what were you going to do? And then the next problem is just an in-game one, which is actually quite important because a lot of us content creators spoke about this beforehand, and that is the fact that the bags and the tools are not rolling with the legendary perk. So basically you were supposed to get like this molt perk on the tools, and I've temporarily forgot what the perk was on the bags. I think it's to do with how long consumption of potions and stuff like that lasted for, but they're not rolling. That's not actually happening. But they actually know about this. Luxandra here said, yes, from my understanding, that is correct. We plan to have a fix for this coming soon. Yeah, gathering tools, they're not rolling with their gathering perk, with the molt perk at the moment. It's a problem. They'll fix it. Just key thing here is to not craft them if you are trying to get these new legendaries and stuff like that. Obviously, you don't want to waste your mats. They're probably not going to refund you because it would be an absolute nightmare. So just a little like public service announcement there. There's been a little bug here, but this seems to be the biggest bug of this patch. Sure, there's quite a few people being affected by little bugs here and there, but Brimstone Sands seems to have gone off mostly without a hitch. And I think that's really positive. So overall, it looks like New World is back. Very positive to see. I don't necessarily think it's going to have like an immense amount of staying power personally, but I think all those people who left for like the little bitty reasons, they can actually find joy in the game right now. And if they keep giving us content, people will keep returning and people will keep playing. So let's hope what we see on the roadmap coming this month is very, very good. Queues, I have no solution for that. I don't think they have a solution for that. It's just one of those things at the moment. People are just going to have to suck it up, unfortunately. But let's hope that, you know, people can get off the server if they are trying to get off. And the bug with the bags and tools and stuff like that, that's just unfortunate, but I don't think it's like the end of the world. You know what I mean? Overall, New World is looking good, feeling good. And I'm probably going to get out of my work shirt. Do consider becoming a YouTube member if you want to support the channel. It really does help. Let me know how you're getting on with Brimstone right now. Are you stuck in queues or have you actually been playing it? I'd be very curious to know. What you should definitely do though is have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.